All right, there were a lot of head coaching hires over the weekend. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take the top 10, what I think best hires were over the weekend, and we're going to rank them rapid fire, 1 through 10. And we're going to grade every single one of them based on not just the caliber of coach, but the fit, the standards of the program, all of it combined. So I separated these hires into 3 tiers. We've got the unknowns, then maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, and then the this should work out, and then the this will work out tier. So, rapid fire. We're going to start at number 10. Ole Miss, Pete Golding. I gave this a C+. I can totally see how this works out. I can totally see how this does not work out. At Bama, from 2018 to 2022, he was their DC. And his defenses at Alabama were very good. But a lot of Alabama fans will tell you that he left a little something on the table there. A lot of Alabama fans will say that once Jeremy Pruitt left, Bama defensively just hasn't quite been the same. And after Alabama, he goes to Ole Miss, and his 2024 defense was awesome. You know, you allow 15 points per game, the fourth lowest in the FBS. This year, they lost a lot, but they did regress. 22 points per game allowed, 36th. So the negatives is defensively, I think he's left a little bit of something on the table with the talent that he's been given. The positives, well, he's a Saban disciple. He's recruited the portal extremely well. A lot of great talent, not just offensively, but defensively, has come to play for Ole Miss. You talk about the Walter Nolanses, the Amoses of the world. It's been there. Chris Paul Jr. So he can recruit. I think Ole Miss just needs to be super intentional about hiring a good offensive coordinator. I can see a way where it works out. I can see a way where it doesn't. We're going to keep going. Number 9, Arkansas, Ryan Silverfield, B-. I think it's a good hire. I think it could be better. 50 wins in 6 years at Memphis. He's averaging a little over 8 wins per season, 2 10-plus win seasons in 3 years. Memphis did end this season really poorly, losers of 3 straight. I think Arkansas might be the toughest job in the entire FBS. You have your athletic director coming out and saying, we don't have enough resources to compete with a lot of these programs in the SEC in football, but hey, we're set up in basketball and baseball. So that kind of tells you where Arkansas's financial vision is. I think at Arkansas, you need one of 2 things to succeed. And this is a hypothesis for me. You need either an amazing coordinator or an amazing recruiter. I'm not necessarily sure if you can be decent, serviceable at both and thrive in this job, because this is a tough job. You have to go against the gauntlet of the SEC with a really pretty rowdy fan base and a good program history with a lot less resources. So the standards are kind of high, but also you're not dealing with enough resources to fit that standard. So it's just a tough job overall, especially with that schedule too. Silverfield's a good coach, but he doesn't have a coordinator background. He's worked a lot with the offensive line. How is he as a recruiter? We don't quite know yet. So that's why he's in the tier. He's in the tier of the unknowns. All right. Tier break. Number 8. We're in the this should work out tier. And there were a lot of great hires over the weekend. At number 8, Auburn, Alex Golesh. I gave this a B+. I already made a video about this. You can check it out in the description. But long story short, Alex Golesh is no stranger to quick turnarounds, and it's exactly what Auburn needs. Number 7. By the way, please check out that video in the description if you want to hear about my take on Alex Golesh. Number 7. This one's controversial. Lane Kiffin at LSU. I gave this a B+. You're probably wondering why I didn't give this at least an A-. Why isn't this in the A tier of hires? Look, Lane Kiffin is an A-tier coach. He's gotten very good results. But that standard at LSU is extremely high. Okay? You forget that before Brian Kelly got there, every single LSU coach since this century has won a national championship. Lane Kiffin's got 4 10-win seasons in 5 years at Ole Miss. That's a really tough job. But that is also very similar to Brian Kelly's resume. So my question isn't about Lane Kiffin. LSU will be, at the very least, very good and extremely competitive with Lane Kiffin. My question is, will these guys at LSU, these boosters, the AD, be patient with Lane Kiffin? Will they tolerate some 9-3s and 10-2s? Could they pull a Nebraska, right? When Bo Pelini was doing that and say, hey, good riddance. We're Nebraska. We win national championships. You're not doing that. You're out. That's why I'm not having this as an A-tier hire. I believe Lane Kiffin can get you at the very least B+ to A- results, but this might be an A to A+ job. How will that mesh? Ultimately, I think Lane Kiffin can get you to A+ tier results. But a lot of these Ole Miss teams have been very good, but not quite on the verge of elite. Okay. That's my drawback. 6, Colorado State. Jim Mora, B+. You're probably wondering, Harris, what the heck is Colorado State doing on this list? That is a curveball. We're going to give some love to the G5 here, okay? Jim Mora made history this year. He became the first ever head coach to win back-to-back 9-win seasons at UConn. UConn had 4 wins in 4 years before he got there. They were 1-11 in 2021. Mora gets there, bam, bowl game, 6-win season. That is a tough task to do at UConn, by the way. Also, was at UCLA for a while, and potentially UCLA regrets firing him because he had 2 10-win seasons there. UCLA hasn't seen the same success since. Pac-12 championship appearance, by the way, a while ago. Speaking of UCLA, we're moving tiers here. We're going into the elite tier. So, we have the unknowns, right? The maybe this works out, maybe it doesn't. Then we have the this should work out tier. And then we have the this will work out tier. And Bob Chesney to UCLA will work out. Everywhere Bob Chesney goes, he wins. I graded this an A-. He's 23-9 in Division III. He's 44-16 in Division II, 73% win percentage in both of those. He's 32-9 in his last 4 years at Holy Cross, 78%. After that, he goes to JMU. And might I tell you, it's a clean slate in that JMU staff. A lot of it was wiped out. 9-4, first year, bam. No one was expecting that. 11-1, second year, 1 win away from the college football playoff right now. Look, this track record more than exceeds the UCLA standard these last 15 years. No doubt about it. Probably the winningest head coach UCLA has gotten since Terry Donahue. And this, frankly, is the guy who I think Penn State should have hired. Right in their backyard, a couple hours away from them, and they missed the opportunity. 4, James Franklin, A-. James Franklin fully fits the expectation that Frank Beamer set in Blacksburg. James Franklin is only a couple hours north of the road, few hours. So it's not like he has to stop recruiting and go to a completely different location. No, he can poach some of those recruits that he's been working on, and that's already been happening, FYI. I made a long video on why I believe James Franklin's going to work out at Virginia Tech. I highly recommend that you check it out. The link is in the description, so I won't spend too much time on it. Number 3, we're going from A- to A. Still in the same tier, though. Oklahoma State, Eric Morris. North Texas, where he's at, is leading the FBS in points per game. They're an 11-1 football team. They are 7th in college football in scoring margin. They are blowing teams out, FYI. But Eric Morris, before he was at North Texas, he was at Incarnate Word. He recruited Cam Ward at Incarnate Word, who eventually became the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. You look today, Drew Mestamaker, as a freshman, is thrown for 3,800 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 picks. So Eric Morris, when no one else was seeing it, saw this low-star recruit in Cam Ward, who eventually became the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. You see what he's doing with Drew Mestamaker now at North Texas. North Texas, by the way, the model has them as a top 20 team, neutral site favorite over Michigan, Utah, and Missouri. Side note. Okay. Eric Morris has an eye for talent at the quarterback position like no other. Eric Morris's offenses put up a lot of points, and there was a time when Mike Gundy was exactly this way. Okay. And Eric Morris is also very plugged into the area. He coached at Houston, at Texas Tech. Incarnate Word is in Texas. North Texas, only a couple hours away from Oklahoma State. So the same thing with James Franklin. He doesn't necessarily have to stop, move to a completely different location, and recruit somewhere else. No, he can keep these same guys. Dallas, or, Denton, is only a couple hours away from Stillwater. And you can win at Oklahoma State. If you're a young lad, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Oklahoma State, when are they, 2-10, 3-9? Why is this going to work out? Well, young lad, a few years ago, Oklahoma State was in the Big 12 championship game. Throughout the entire 2010s, Oklahoma State was a 10-win football team. Year in and year out. Slam dunk hire for Oklahoma State. Number 2. Okay. Final 2 hires. What could this be? Kentucky. Will Stein. In Will Stein's 3 years as the Oregon offensive coordinator, Oregon has been 12th, 8th, and 4th in points per game in the FBS. He was also at UTSA, top 15 in points per game there as well. And here's the part that intrigues me the most. He's done it with 3 different quarterbacks. Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, Dante Moore. All 3 of those QBs are probably going to be taking snaps on Sundays. So what does that speak to? That speaks volumes of the head coach, but the offensive coordinator. And the fact that he's able to deal with that much change and put up the same results year in and year out. And this year, might I mention, Oregon was lost wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, 4 due to injuries. They've got 4 injuries on that offensive line, yet they're still scoring points. Who does that speak to? The play caller, the offensive coordinator, Will Stein. Here's another reason why this fits so well. Will Stein grew up in Kentucky. Will Stein grew up a diehard Kentucky fan. He's coached under Dan Lanning, so he probably is able to recruit. I mean, looking at some of those Oregon recruiting classes, yeah. I mean, he's put up some elite classes. I think he can turn Kentucky into an absolutely dominant power. And number 1, last but not least, Florida, John Summerall. This is an A. Florida hit their match. This is their slam dunk hire, and I think this is a hire that we're going to remember for years and years and years, because John Summerall is that type of guy who can win championships. Troy goes under 500 for 3 years. Summerall gets there, bam, 2 straight 11-win seasons. He leaves. Troy falls to 4-8. He goes to Tulane, AAC championship in year 1, 10-2 in year 2. Might make the AAC championship again. Summerall has 9+ wins in all 4 years as a head coach. He's got 4 conference championship appearances in 4 years. How about that track record? That track record speaks for itself. Also, he fits the area so well. That whole SEC area he fits so well. He's coached at Ole Miss. He was a Kentucky defensive coordinator in 2021 where they were giving up the 4th least points per game in the SEC. Look what's happened to that defense since he left. Just going to put that out there. And he's coached in Troy and Tulane, which is also in the Southeast. He's super plugged into the area. Mind to tell you, Retzlaff, his quarterback, didn't come in the portal until July. And he's still putting up 10-win seasons with them. He lost a lot of guys to the portal at Tulane. Slam dunk hire for Florida. Absolutely slam dunk for Florida.